What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and of course, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and hop in the Discord link for that's in the description box down below. We have some shout outs to give, some people to give the love, the appreciation to, before we dive right into some Dallas Cowboy news, info, updates, of course.
The OTAs today. And hey, the media's allowed back. We heard from McCarthy. We heard from players. We got a little more information on a lot of these faces you see on your screen, whether it's the offensive line guys, Zeke, Dak, Mozzie, some injured players, too, at the bottom left there. So we'll talk about that and more tonight here at My Cowboys Family. OTAs time here at MCF. So, baby, before we get rolling into things, let's shout out those that make the thing go around here and shout out the sponsor of the week.
Speaking of making it go round, coming back around.
Much love. Representing
as the sponsor of the week and the stream boss, a big mahalo to Mark Hosepian.
Yes.
Appreciate you, Mark, of course, representing there, like you said, as the sponsor of the week, and stream bossing it with 96 points.
He's got that. He's almost fully loaded on the stream boss. And you got Gloria wearing the crown, the Cash App Queen.
That's right.
Much love to Gloria, Cowboy fan of the After Dark sessions. So much love to you, appreciation to you. Hey, we got all Cowboy fans representing the boards this week because Skeptical Fan took over the 5 in a row from Jason Renfro as a gifting champion. So big shout out, big congrats to Skeptical Fan, always staying skeptical. And this week, he's already got 1 gifted membership, but Jason Renfro said, I want it back. He's got 2. So right now, he's up 2-1 in that battle of gifting memberships. And then if you look at the overall board and the Cash App board by just a couple, by just a little bit, squeezing past Gloria. You guys know this man. Used to be Jason Renfro. And again, I have him as Jason Renfro, so you gotta roll with me on this. But it is Jet Li 44, or AKA Jason Renfro, which we will switch it over for soon, don't worry. But Jet Li 44, if you see him in the chat, that's Jason Renfro. He is currently the overall leader and the Cash App leader, even on the After Dark session. So big congrats to Jason, as he has an early lead this week, only up by a couple off the against the rest of the crew there. So appreciate everybody who's dropped the love. Like last night in the After Dark session, we had SCO971, Jason Renfro, Gloria, Dave Brown, and Mick. So big shout out to you guys. Kicking off tonight, I think we're starting off fresh. So appreciate everybody who's in the house and that like, subscribe, and notification bell. And reminding everybody a couple of different ways you can help out the channel, whether it's a Cash App, Streamlab, the Stream Boss, or whatever it is. You can do it through, Super Chats here through YouTube. You can do it through the thanks button. You can do it through, just jumping in the membership, or you can also, of course, gift memberships. But there's 4 other ways you can affect not just the overall board, but the Cash App crown.
You have, of course, the Cash App, money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link lets your comments show up on screen just like a Super Chat.
A lot of our late night After Dark family, they give through there, since we don't have the Super Chat stuff and the YouTube stuff on the After Dark sessions. Now, not just that here, but you also, of course, have the monthly jersey raffle sewn and stitch. If you're in the star level or over everything level membership, you're automatically entered. And if you are one of our weekly winners, for example, Mark Hosepian, and you get a bonus raffle entry into this thing. But we also put this up to remind you guys that we do these guys in the top shelf of our membership board. We got the navy blue and the silver 2 crew, but we also got the top shelf. They get shout outs every single night, the star level and over everything level membership. So who are they, baby?
Thank you very much to Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Lincoln Kane, Dwayne Broussard, Marissa Sparkle, Choctaw Montana 808, The Lunatic, and over everything.
Yeah.
Sea Bass.
Hopefully on this channel. I don't know about this weekend. We have a busy weekend with family coming in from out of town, but soon, probably next week sometime, we'll have the man Sea Bass representing it from last month. And he represents it one more time this month, since he's in the over everything once again. So big shout outs to everybody on those levels. As you can see us here, front and center. We're ready to talk some Cowboy football. But before we do that, baby, give some shout outs to who's in the house tonight.
Of course. Well, can't kick things off without giving a big shout out there to Texas Cat, who just got gifted A membership by the one and only Skeptical Fan.
Hell yeah, the man staying skeptical.
Thank you so much, Skeptical Fan. Appreciate you, of course. Much love. And yeah, shout out to Texas Cat. Drop them if you got them, guys. Again, in that emoji club. Although a certain special someone in the chat over everything, Mr. Seabass, he had a great idea. So I'll read that in just a second. Let me go ahead and keep rolling with the shout outs, of course.
So I do want to say, for Skeptical Fan, he's now in a tie for first place on the gifting board with Jason Renfro, 2 apiece. Currently sitting there 2-2. And Skeptical, is he going to go for a repeat like our 90s Cowboys back-to-back? Not sure yet, but he is going up this overall board as well. So big shout out to Skeptical Fan and Jason Renfro, who are right now gifting leaders.
So let me keep rolling here with the shout outs again. Thank you, Skeptical Fan.
Yeah.
Shout out Texas Cat. Of course, Scorpio in the house. Rolando Rodriguez, much love all the way from South Texas. Even you, Eastside Herald. Let me see. We have the man himself, Seabass, who said we still need an emoji for San Francisco's Bang Bang Rainbow Gang and an emoji for Green Bay.
I know I have to get that cooking here
the
soon.
Green Bay
We
one,
got to beat the Niners one of these
the
times.
Green Bay one is one thing, but yeah, I think the Niners one we can definitely
we'll
try
get
to
that,
add
don't
into
worry.
the more regular rotation.
Yeah, right now we have the regular rotation. Nothing in the off season, but yeah, we're starting to get back in that. We're getting that feel back, or getting the hate for these opposing teams that keeping us from advancing. Really, the team that keeps us from advancing are the Dallas Cowboys. We're our own worst enemy.
I felt that one. Let me keep rolling here. Mike Aldana, much loved. Shout out to you, Double R. Thanks for rolling with us. Let me see. We have Daniel Berry Sports. What's up? MCF After Dark. Ooh, I wonder who that is.
Always watching.
Let me see. Stephen White, thanks for being here. John Syme, much love.
Yeah, John in the house.
Ooh. Keep rolling with the shout outs here. Freedom First. Looks like he was first, so good for you. Let me come back down, because so far I think we shouted out everybody, right? John Syme. Let me see. To one owner away from winning a championship. Yeah, you could say that again, because like we've said, when our owner is also our GM, it's kind of hard to get fired when you own the team. So, what motivation does he have to be good outside of making money and profit?
And that's part of a GM's role. If you're the, I guess it's the owner's role to get that money in there, right, and make that profit. And the Cowboys is obviously one of the best at doing that. So Jerry Jones sees that as a win. That's winning the Super Bowl to him.
So, right, Scorpio said the Jones family will keep running the Dallas Cowboys for decades. So yeah, let's hope that at some point someone in there can manage us into a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, since it's going to be 29 years. I don't know how much time we got.
Hopefully not another 29, because I don't know if I've got another 29 in me.
I know I don't.
So I might expire before then. So Texas Cat did say, man, come to think of it, when was the last time that we beat the Niners?
Been a while. When it's an important game, even longer. Let's put it that way. So, are we ready to kick things off here?
I
Get
am
it going?
more than ready to kick things off. So what's going on in the NFL world, Cowboy world, everything?
Yeah, I mean, listen, NFL still having their March meetings. And, a lot of different rules and different, I guess, new little tweaks are coming on to the NFL. Now, this meeting it was held, I think last month's meeting was held in Orlando. This spring meeting is held in Nashville.
Okay.
And that's where Roger Goodell says that there is, quote, progress being made on Tom Brady owning a portion of the Las Vegas Raiders. So he still said those issues remain. And, so that's still up in the air. Brady's trying to buy the Raiders. And then you have Goodell pointing out that there's going to be a potential 18-game season. We discussed this in the past. The owners would love it. The players, not so much. There's not a current conversation yet, but Goodell and the owners they're looking for a long-term kind of a, good trade-off, so to speak. Goodell kind of implied it would be a good trade-off to have an extra football, like an extra, regular season game and fewer preseason games. Jerry Jones, actually, after the meetings, expressed his support for an eventual move in the future to an 18-game regular season. But I'm telling you right now, that's the owners trying to get more money. The NFL Players Association, the Players Union, they're not going to be trading meaningless preseason games that their stars, are resting and not getting hurt for real games that matter, that they can get worn down and hurt in. For an 18th regular season game, they will have to have compensation. That means bigger contracts. That means, they got to pay more. Despite what Goodell is saying and hoping for, the only way they're going to trade in that 18th game, it's not going to be for a preseason game. They trade that if the owners want the 18th game, the players going to want a larger slice of the revenue pie, reduced off-season work, and fewer preseason games. Not just fewer preseason games. That's just part of it. Mm-hmm. But the rest of it's going to be a larger slice of the revenue pie, or whatever it is, from the gambling and from the sport, TV revenues and all that stuff. But reduced off-season, mandatory stuff and OTAs and fewer preseason games. That's the way. If the owners want that 18th game, that's the only way they're going to get it. Just because they want it doesn't mean they're not going to get it unless they give up some things. And Goodell also commented on the recent comments from Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker. Goodell said, quote, "Listen, we have over 3,000 players. They have a diversity of opinions and thoughts, just like America does. I think that's something we treasure. That's part of what ultimately makes us as a society better. We're not going to go much beyond the statement that we made about this last week," which they said it's not the way the NFL thinks at all, and they do not agree with his comments. So, that's as good as an answer, I guess, as you can get for something like that.
I agree. I mean, I don't think you need to really ask anymore, but
Goodell,
you do.
But again, when it was Colin Kaepernick, though, Goodell had a lot to say about that. Interesting, right?
Now, Skeptical Fan, huge shout out to you with a $4.53 holler.
Much love. The man staying skeptical, chipping away at Marco Seppian, down to 91 points. What did the skeptical one have to say?
John Stevens Jr. will replace the janitor.
He's talking about Schoonmaker getting jumped by Steven. I think that if anyone's gonna get hurt by what's his name, John Stevens, it's gonna be Hendershot before Schoonmaker. But we'll talk about Schoonmaker because the guy every day is feeling and looking more like a second round bust. Unfortunately,
that hurts. Unfortunately, just because obviously second round pick. That's quite the high investment, and not exactly.
Well, you don't even know.
Again, we're kind of chatting about it here in the chat. Obviously, we'll go into more details about it here in a minute. I do know a little bit of what's going on, although I know you have more details than just what I, had initially, kind of talked to you about.
We'll definitely get back on that tight end. We'll get back to the tight end situation. Yes, Schoonmaker is the janitor here. I mean, that's what he's kind of been calling him since last year. But we're going to talk about Schoonmaker and the injuries going on in a minute. But I just wanted to finish with Goodell. He spoke. NFL news side of things. A little bit more NFL news. It was announced today that Pittsburgh has been selected to host the 2026 NFL Draft. So the pick now, is the selection by the NFL was for a host city was the Steelers, Pittsburgh. And it's going to be the 2026 NFL Draft is going to be presented by Bud Light, taking place in Pittsburgh, incorporating elements of Point State Park as well as Acrisure Stadium, currently home of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know if I said that right. But anyways, the point here is that this announcement was made at these spring meetings in Nashville, and following a review of Pittsburgh's proposed bid by the Fan Engagement and Major Events Advisory Committee and all the ownership. So again, this was all passed today officially. It was all hinted towards that, but now we know it's definite. Now, that's it for NFL news, although there's a couple more things that kind of relate to the Cowboys. For example, as we said, Netflix going to have some Cowboy stuff. Well, now we know the date for the America's Sweethearts, the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders show. It premieres on June 20th, officially. June 20th, only on Netflix. So mark your calendars, I guess, if you want to see making the cheerleader squad of the Cowboys for 2024. Also, today was a special day for our kicker, Brandon Aubrey. It's Brandon Aubrey Day in his hometown of Plano, Texas.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, the Cowboy kicker received a key to the city following his rookie season in which he set NFL records, guys. Of course, we know 35 straight made field goals to begin your career. So obviously, never done before. He's getting a lot of. He's the most famous guy in Plano, Texas, it seems. Anyways, he's got the key to the city, and it is Brandon Aubrey Day today there. So congrats to him. Now, as we get more into Cowboy centric news here, like real news, we need to talk about quickly touching on the CeeDee Lamb situation. Because it's not just CeeDee Lamb, of course, it's Justin Jefferson. And we know, again, today, as we're going to talk about in a couple minutes, the OTAs were CeeDee Lamb-less, all right, and Micah Parson-less. But we know Micah, he'll be back on Tuesday of next week. But CeeDee Lamb, he continued his holdout, as we knew, from these voluntary OTAs, awaiting a new contract extension. And it's going to be an interesting kind of standoff for June 4th when those mandatory mini camps start and he has to start paying the fines. Well, we'll see what happens, but up to that point. In the meantime, the fastest thing that's going to make CeeDee Lamb get a contract done is probably the Justin Jefferson deal with the Vikings. So the same situation is being said right now about Justin Jefferson with Minnesota because he didn't show up to their facility yesterday. And according to Adam Schefter, said this on SportsCenter today, there's a lot of influence on the receiver market to kind of hold off till somebody else gets a deal. I'm talking about, of course, on his side, Justin Jefferson. He's waiting for CeeDee Lamb to get a deal. People are waiting to see what T. Higgins gets under that franchise tag with the Bengals. Schefter said, quote, "When this deal gets done," meaning Justin Jefferson, "and I think it will eventually get done, it is expected to make Justin Jefferson the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history." So if he gets that, Justin Jefferson, then what's CeeDee Lamb going to get? Probably going to get, soon to be, the highest paid non-quarterback deal in NFL history. I'm saying for CeeDee Lamb, if Jefferson goes first. According to Schefter, this Justin Jefferson deal, which is coming closer to getting done, quote, "It will be a landmark type deal, and I think some of the other wide receivers are waiting to see where the Justin Jefferson deal comes in before they do a deal because they know the size and scope of this Justin Jefferson deal is going to be huge and that the two sides have been working on this throughout the course of the current offseason." So, point here is that everyone's watching Justin Jefferson. The fact that they're working on this deal with the Vikings and Jefferson, it's taking so long. It's been a whole bunch of months, and all the other kind of receivers waiting are still kind of just waiting. They're not really doing deals with the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's not like there's like some like big back and forth or we're like negotiating. Or
other than
anything.
Justin Jefferson, so all the receivers kind of are waiting. Like I said, CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins, and a couple others waiting to see what comes out of this big manufactured deal. And then I'm not saying CeeDee Lamb may be higher than him, but he's going to be in that. He wants to know what that range is so he can max it out.
Yep.
And that's what CeeDee Lamb and some of the other receivers are waiting for when it comes to this Justin Jefferson deal. According to Adam Schefter, it will be the biggest deal in history outside of quarterbacks. So brace yourself, guys. That's the future with the CeeDee Lamb situation currently at hand. Now, let's go to the installation. Today's OTAs, which again, second day of them, but again, this started on Monday with check-ins and meetings. It started yesterday on the field. Today was the first day that the media was allowed to kind of check things out, see how people are looking, who's injured, who's not injured, how they're looking on the field. And, of course, they got this. Today was the first day, from these OTAs that we get to hear from Mike McCarthy. So right now it's going to be 8 installs. 8 installs out of the, you have a possible 9 days. 3 this week, 3 next week, and then 3 the following week. But it sounds like McCarthy wants to make sure we get in. It's going to be an 8-day installation. So there'll be one of these days will probably be, they'll probably take off. He said this today, quote, "The goal for every offseason program is tailored to the rookies and second-year players. Between now and the end of minicamp, our players have to have everything they'll be asked to do in training camp." So, again, kind of like it is every single offseason, they have to, these rookies and second-year guys have to know what their goals are going to be a month after it ends when they go into training camp, or a month and a half afterwards. This is what the whole reason of these next 3 weeks are for. It's more than telling Micah what he needs to do. It's more than telling CeeDee Lamb what he needs to do. It's about the rookies and second-year guys to know what they're expected to do, not now, but in training camp. That's what these next 3 weeks are about. So that's what McCarthy just kind of broke down. The Cowboys have 86 players on the 90-man roster. So are we going to make any moves? This is interesting. Because McCarthy said he met extensively this morning with the vice president of player personnel, Will McClay. So it sounds like the Cowboys are far from done from any kind of free agent moves.
I mean, allegedly, but yes, continue.
I mean, this is allegedly is what McCarthy's saying, baby.
So
McCarthy is saying that he met with Will McClay. Obviously, they have 4 spots open on this team. Mm-hmm. And obviously, McCarthy's expecting McClay, and of course, even more than McClay, the Joneses, to be open to bringing in a couple more bodies into training camp. That has to be filled, guys. And not because we have to, but we should fill it because we want as many camp bodies as possible. Case closed with that. So again, that's what it seems like. 86 players. We have 90-player roster, of course, but 86 players on this team. Will McClay and McCarthy met for a while this morning. And he said that basically the Cowboys are far from done on player acquisitions. They have multiple moves, according to McCarthy, poised to come by training camp. The moves will be made.
Okay.
So expect in the next month and a half, a couple of moves, a couple lower level names.
I was just about to say,
nobody crazy out there.
We've
done that all the time. We do that every year, right? We do these lower level moves all the time as we get into training camp or even the beginning of training camp. So McCarthy said his focus is to be better on the road, on road games this year. And he says, you need to get better starts when you're on the road, which we had a big issue with that. At every game last year we got behind, it was tough for the defense and the offense to get back in the game. Now, people of course asked about Micah Parsons not being at training camp. And McCarthy said this about Micah not being in attendance in this first week of OTAs. Quote, Micah has been in and out of the Star. He spent a lot of time with me on Friday. He said, Micah looks great, and he's in excellent shape. He has not missed anything. And then he said, even though he hasn't been here for the voluntary workouts yet, he did say, he made a joke. He said, quote, he went all the way to Tokyo to get a workout.
I mean, so, remember, he did all the, sumo wrestling and all that other stuff.
Yeah, he had a whole bunch of another regiment out there doing this thing. But the thing is that it's good to, McCarthy's kind of trying to imply there is that the scheme he's missing right now with Zimmer, with Mike Zimmer, he's not really missing out on this. He's been in the facility. I'm sure he has the playbook and all that. I'm sure he knows, again, being on the field is important, but we know he's going to come on Tuesday. And so the Cowboys are not worried, neither is McCarthy, about Micah Parsons not being there. Basically, McCarthy also confirmed that the Cowboys know how Micah has been working out this, in these last, in the offseason and when he's not there, and where he's working out. All right? And again, McCarthy reiterated that he's not behind the defensive installation.
Okay.
So all important things for the Cowboys going forward with Micah not being there. Doesn't seem to worry the Cowboys too much. Now, a couple other players the Cowboys are on the injured side of things. Trayvon Diggs. What's the situation with him and DeMarvion Overshown? McCarthy said this, quote, they both look great. Really just staying on time with their process. Trayvon is hitting the 4 days, the 4 day a week. He's working primarily with Britt Brown. And then Demo, as in DeMarvion Overshown. Demo actually looks really good. We're respecting the timeline. If I was a doctor, which I'm not, I'd say he's a little ahead of schedule. So then they asked him, do you anticipate them being both ready for the start of training camp? And he said, quote, it'll definitely be a conversation, end quote. Which to me tells me they ain't. I know that they're going to err on caution, and that's fine.
It's the same way that when you ask your parents and they say, oh yeah, maybe. But you know that maybe's absolutely no. They just don't want to tell you no now because they don't want to hear you like bitching about it or whatever. So they're just saying like, oh yeah, we'll see. If the answer is no, okay, no matter how many we'll sees they try to tell us.
It feels like it. Again, we know that they were going to have a conversation last year about Jordan Lewis and about his injury and maybe getting.
And you know what? I'm sure they'll have tons of conversations, but that's all they're ever going to have.
It just feels like, even though, listen, the good news is both Trayvon Diggs and Overshown are on the right timeline.
Agree.
Even ahead of schedule doesn't mean they're going to be able to really be out there in training camp and giving it their all. So, in my realistic view and opinion, you're going to probably see them on the field, both these guys, probably when they get back to Dallas after Oxnard. Kind of my thought process. If I was to guess, based on, even if they said, we're definitely going to have them ready, I don't even believe it until I see it. So, it's good to know, though, they're both in, at the very least, where they're supposed to be at or beyond that.
Agree.
Now, a new injury situation per McCarthy, and you see the guy I'm talking about, the bottom left of your screen there, number 86, second-year guy, second-round pick, Luke Schoonmaker. Yeah, the janitor. And Luke
the pain maker, but continue.
The pain taker, because Luke Schoonmaker has officially, according to McCarthy, a hamstring injury. And that will officially sideline number 86 for the entire OTAs. He will not be there at all, according to McCarthy. He underwent with Mozzie Smith shoulder surgery. Both these guys at the end of the year, at the end of the football season, Mozzie got his, and then Schoonmaker a month later into his workouts got injured his shoulder, got surgery. So Schoonmaker's is an injury machine, and then now he's injured again with a hamstring. This motherfucker. Last year he missed all of the OTAs and most of training camp because of his fucking plantar fasciitis foot issue. So. This is a bust. As we said last year, we got to see what he's going to be. We got to see how they use him. We had Osiris Torrance sitting right there. A guy he started every game for the Buffalo Bills at guard. So I'm saying we had a lot of guys that we could have had at that spot there. We got Schoonmaker, another wasted fucking pick. At least what it feels like. So again, the thing with number 86 right now, expected to sideline, according to McCarthy, sideline him throughout all the OTAs. We'll see what happens in training camp. But his hamstring is now what is keeping him off the field. He missed 2023's rookie year with that foot injury, or not the year, but the spring tryouts, the OTAs, and the training camp. He missed it with that foot injury. Schoonmaker also underwent that shoulder surgery this offseason. And again, the setback as a rookie, and this setback now, is just killing his ability to really be an integral part of this offense. For Schoonmaker.
Yep, and Skeptical Fan said, I remember when our whole 2017 draft picks all had hamstring issues. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the year of the hamstring.
That was our first year of doing this. We did this, and that's when we had Awuzie and Jordan Lewis, and they all got hamstrings in our defensive backfield. So I remember that too. Then we had our ACLs last year, which is even worse.
Mike Aldana saying Schoon's working his way out of Dallas at the rate he's going.
I'm telling you.
Agreed. And John Simon saying the only people making a big deal about the voluntary camp session absences are the mainstream networks as they scrape for stuff to talk about.
Well, I agree. There's a lot of bull crap out there about, is he not going to play? CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons are fine. But, when you look at, and again, we're talking about this as Dallas Cowboys now, forget the mainstream media. When you see number 86, last year as a rookie, nothing until a week before the season started. Now you're seeing him this year, same path. That's not good. That's not mainstream media. That's Luke Schoonmaker being a wasted pick, right? I think we can all agree on that if that's what continues to happen. Now, another guy I want to bring up here McCarthy brought him up, and it's, McCarthy's a big guy weight-wise, so is Mozzie Smith, and we know the weight issues there. McCarthy was asked about Mozzie Smith and that shoulder. Remember, he also had a shoulder. Right after the season ended, he went and got surgery, which means he'll be ready before Schoonmaker, which is, thank goodness, on that. But he's currently working with the rehab group. We said this yesterday, what to expect from OTAs. That's what to expect there. So the rehab group, that's where Mozzie's in. And according to McCarthy, quote, he's in all the meetings and does everything else. Do they have an ideal weight for Mozzie Smith? What's the target? Yeah. We can't get any answer on this. So McCarthy declined to answer that in the sense of, he said, quote, I'm not going to talk about that, meaning the ideal weight for Mozzie Smith. But he said, quote, I don't even talk about my own weight. For God's sakes.
I mean,
I guess. Well,
don't worry, we're not watching you like a hawk.
Yeah,
McCarthy. But you know what? Look, if we put two and two together, obviously Zimmer wants him bigger and closer to his initial weight. So where he's going to go either once he's there or whatever, obviously that remains to be seen, right? But it does seem like gaining weight and staying a little bit on that side of things is the plan as of now.
Yeah, for sure. So,
by the way, the whole Schoonmaker thing, man, what a fucking disappointment is the janitor, right? Oh, skeptical fans saying the way the Cowboys played their last game, I'd expect everyone to be out there practicing.
Well, they're still injured, unfortunately, some of these guys, and slows the comebacks back there. So, anyways, look, Mozzie on the right path when it comes to his weight. Not really much more details about that. The final things that McCarthy said before we get to the actual practice, which is interesting to know about what happened today to the open practice. But McCarthy said that the two Jalens, Jalen Brooks, wide receiver, and of course Jalen Tolbert, right there, wide receiver, both of them are having a great opportunity. What did I say yesterday, baby? What to look for in this OTAs and stuff like this? I said this. We have to look for more Jalen Brooks and Jalen Tolbert on the field because there's less CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
McCarthy repeated what I said. McCarthy basically said that both Jalens are going to have a great opportunity, with a CeeDee Lamb not in attendance, to get a lot more reps. So, a lot more reps for the two Jalens, which is only going to help the depth, which is good. And, by the way, there's also Jalen Cropper, who's also an undrafted free agent from Fresno State from last year. So a third Jalen will also get some more reps. And again, not just in a receiving side, he also is a returner type guy. So another Jalen to keep an eye on. But the two main Jalens, Jalen Brooks, number 83, and Jalen Tolbert, which is now number 1, they are going to get many more reps in these practices without CeeDee Lamb there. McCarthy also spoke on Trey Lance, which I should have made more of a big deal about him today because McCarthy spoke about him, Dak spoke about him, and even Trey Lance spoke a couple things here. A lot of people want to know what's going on with Trey Lance. I got a good video tomorrow on the short side. You can check out what Trey Lance is up to. But according to McCarthy, here's what he said about Trey Lance. Quote, "The athletic ability for Trey is top-notch. We've adjusted some things in his throwing motion. You can see the improvement. You can see the improvement in the timing. Him and I talk about the preseason quite often because that's what we're building towards." He continued by saying, quote, "I am very, very pleased with the way Trey Lance has been playing. His athleticism is top-notch. You can see the improvement, and he will play a large part of the preseason."
I mean, that part to me isn't very surprising.
No, it's not. No, it's confirmation. It's confirmation. We assumed that we'll see a lot of Trey Lance this preseason. McCarthy just basically said we're talking about 75%.
Yeah. You're right. It is nice to hear McCarthy kind of be straight up about that. And honestly,
but he's still the third stringer. And he's also official.
But let's be real, though. Trey needs the rep. The reps.
Yeah,
Speak of the reps.
He does.
He does need the reps. So, honestly, this is, whether I'm just saying, Dak lovers, Dak haters, Dallas Cowboys supporters, right? This is just good all the way around.
Yeah, I want to see Trey Lance surpass. How about we start with surpassing Cooper Rush? Can he do that this offseason? Mm-hmm. Let's see. That would be a great thing. Now, McCarthy likes what he's seeing in him. And I'm actually going to talk a little bit because he had more reps with the second stringers. He had some more reps with some other guys out there. So we're going to see a lot of him this preseason in OTAs, in minicamp, in training camp, in preseason. Mm-hmm. A lot of Trey Lance, so get ready.
JD from DC, much love.
In the house.
He said McCarthy told Will McClay to never draft a Michigan Wolverine on the first 2 days of the draft. Never again.
Too late.
Oh. Hashtag Aguilera 4 said, "We have the talent, the coaches. The main thing we've been missing, even during the 2014 run with Ramon Dez, is discipline and aggressiveness. We're weak, and we always get punched."
Yeah, we do. And again, there's something still missing. That asshole anger is missing from this team. I think that it takes a couple of years of drafting kind of glass eaters and assholes. The nice thing is we
drafted like 2 or 3 assholes this year.
Yeah, and we have a couple the last couple of years, so we got to hope that they produce and they give you that attitude.
Rally together into one big asshole.
We need that asshole attitude, and I would love to see it. Now, we started off the practice. Today's practice again. This is not the first official practice. Yesterday was the first official practice. The media was not allowed there, so we don't know how it went. But you know what they were doing today when they all came out in the field? Today's first OTAs in front of the media for 2024. the song that was playing. Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. So they're starting off already, the shit talk.
I love that energy.
So Cowboys start up with that. Now, the OTAs today began outdoors. I mean, if you look at the thumbnail, that's the scene behind these players. That's the field right there, and you can see it's a little cloudy. So the practices began outdoors, and then there was some storm activity nearing. As you can tell, it's kind of getting it's not a nice, shiny, sunny day there. It's a kind of a gloomy day. And then there was some strong wind that was impeding the passing game in the passes. Mm-hmm. So it forced them indoors to the Ford Center. Just so you guys know, that's how today's OTAs went. So they went indoors. And we know who was not at this practice. CeeDee Lamb.
Okay.
Let me know if you knew this or not. CeeDee Lamb, we knew he was going to be there. Mm-hmm. Micah Parsons. Mm-hmm. Now, Trayvon Diggs, injury. Yeah. Zach Martin, who's just taking like that rest day. Older guy taking a rest day. DeMarcus Lawrence also taking a little rest day. And then there were the group of players that were working with the rehab group or not working at all. Mozzie Smith with the shoulder.
Okay.
Luke Schoonmaker with everything, the shoulder and the hamstring.
The whole body.
DeMarvion Overshown was out there looking, like he was getting a little head start, like even in front of Trayvon Diggs, And OSA Odigizua. What? Like, where did he come from? Like, why did he hurt? How is he hurt now?
Yeah. Like, how did he show up there?
And if you look at our thumbnail, number 97, OSA Odigizua, yeah, he also was not in practice today. And with the rehab. So what happened was Osa emerged in street clothes later on in practice.
Okay.
So he was in practice.
So it sounds like he might have gotten banged up during practice?
Kind of left, came back in street clothes. Peyton Hendershot also was dressed, but he didn't do much out on that field either. Hendershot. So he's a little banged up with something. We don't know yet. But back to Osa Odigizua. The reason he missed practice was because of a hip issue. He had a hip injury there.
Damn, I don't like to hear that.
But the expectation, according to all sources, that he's expected to be a full go for training camp, which probably means he ain't going to play much or do much in OTAs. But again, this is for second and first, rookies and second-year guys more than anything. But Osa, a guy to keep an eye on. Schoonmaker, a guy to keep an eye on. New injuries from these guys that, they probably won't be ready to at least training camp. So, and those are two kind of pseudo starters, if not starters themselves. Now, I will say this: John Stevens, the tight end, John Stevens Jr., who tore that ACL the same time as Overshown did. And I think the next day, David Durden also got hurt with the ACL. All three guys were ACL tears. All three guys were taking mental reps today at the OTA practice. So, the ACL tears and all these guys, even if they were the rehab group, they were also taking mental reps. They were not obviously involved in today's OTA light practice, okay? So I want to reiterate this to everybody out there. Some of you guys already said it. Mm-hmm. But just because the players are not there, even today, for this week, or next week as well, or even the mandatory minicamp, I would not worry too much about most of these things here, guys. I mean, the biggest one is the next big date to worry if somebody's not there is June 4th, which is in 2 weeks. Players that take off all the time for voluntary workouts all the time. As long as they're there for June 4th, the start of minicamp, that's really what matters if it comes to fines and it comes to installation of the scheme for all the players. So, again, some of these guys are injured. Some of these guys are taking it easy. Some of these guys are not there yet. We know Michael will be back next week. We can only hope CeeDee Lamb comes back for June 4th. But that's kind of the lay of the land there when it comes to, the injury guys here. And there's other situations going on. With Dak Prescott, like how do these guys play on the field? So I'm going to give you a couple little quick hits here. Dak Prescott was connecting in a big way with Brandon Cooks. Him, again, no CeeDee Lamb, but Dak, that gives more time for Dak to connect with Brandon Cooks.
I agree.
And that's also going to be good if they can click in the second offseason. They connected on multiple deep passes down the left boundary when it was on 7-on-7 drills. Now, again, guys, let's be honest about this. It's hard to kind of figure out, who's winning and what is being done right in these competitive drills. So it's just take it with a grain of salt that, but Brandon Cooks and Dak were connecting today. And you got to remember, when Dak's throwing to Brandon Cooks, the defensive backs, the corners and safeties, they're not allowed to jump at the ball or compete for the ball. What do you think about that? What's wrong? What?
I'm sorry. I didn't know you wanted my opinion on that.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. What did you think about that?
About defensive backs not being able to jump for the ball?
Yeah. I mean, that's how Trayvon Diggs got hurt. Last year between week 2 and 3.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think it's that. I mean, obviously it's good in the sense that hopefully we're preventing injuries and stuff, but I mean, is it any different than the dudes wearing those big bulky helmets or not being able to do certain things? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just.
Yeah, it just limits the accuracy of what we're seeing from Dak and Brandon Cooks.
Possibly, but I don't think it's.
Yeah, I mean.
How do I put this? We're already not really doing too much during that period of time, so I don't know how much you're actually going to see unless we're in
right.
Yeah,
the reason I mention it is to keep people's kind of okay. Yeah, Dak and Brandon Cooks look good. With a grain of salt, guys. The defensive back's not allowed to even challenge the ball. Just to kind of see how close they are to the play and let it see what happened. Now
it feels like a glorified walkthrough.
Yeah,
which at that
basically.
point, like even a walkthrough practice, like you can still get some of the scheme and get some of that stuff down, but like there's no replacing an actual like full on real practice.
Yeah.
So anything less than that, it's just like
So walkthroughs here, but the important thing is Dak and Brandon Cooks are definitely connecting on rhythm, and getting on the same page feel wise. There was a 50-yard touchdown go route that Brandon Cooks ran from Dak Prescott, a great pass by Dak Prescott, and Brandon Cooks also had a very impressive over the shoulder grab. Just being athletic out there, connecting with Dak, that's the good news portion. It's not like we're just burning the defensive backs. They're not allowed to challenge. And now, tight ends. We talked about tight end situation without Schoonmaker. You're going to get other guys moving up, but, Stevens is out right now, still hurt. I mean, we had Hendershot wasn't barely practicing today. So Princeton Fant, last year's undrafted tight end, and undrafted wide receiver Tyron Billy Johnson are both the biggest benefactors at these OTAs, with Luke Schoonmaker with the hamstring and CeeDee Lamb with the contract, being out right now, getting really the most reps from the back end of these things here. They were among the 2023 practice squad players to have some, today they were last year's undrafted, but they had chances to go with the first team today and run with Dak Prescott. So they got some reps with Dak Prescott there. Which is good to see from the tight end and, real tight end depth here, real receiver depth situation. Now, back to Trey Lance real quick. How is he doing? A lot of people are really, even over everything, some people want to know, how is Trey Lance doing? He's been able to find a noticeably better rhythm post his the first move from the receiver. So once that move is made, and he's been a lot better rhythm-wise. He worked extensively today with the second team and rotated with Cooper Rush. So he had the most second team reps, and Cooper Rush came in for a couple second team reps. So right now, even though Cooper Rush is the number 2, Trey Lance is getting the number 2 reps because he's going to get the most work this offseason. We already know what Cooper Rush can do, and it's good enough to just manage your team.
Yeah,
not
so
to really
now
win
it's
games.
time
right?
to see if
Trey
Lance can take that step and maybe surpass him.
Yeah. And that's going to be
obviously what the Cowboys are banking on
major
for this offseason.
Yeah, major decisions. Yeah,
assumption.
Major decisions next year. Do we sign him for like $7-8 million, or is he going to go somewhere else with 20? I don't know. But on the offensive side, also I wanted to bring up Zach Martin. Now, Zach Martin, the reason he was not there, he had a pre-planned absence at today's OTA for family reasons.
All right.
So his excuse. That's not that it mattered. It's voluntary, but that's what a person close to the situation said. As in typical spring situations in OTAs, veterans, are favored on first-team reps. So today, who were the first-team guys on the offensive line? Left tackle was Chuma Edoga, not rookie Tyler Guyton. Then Tyler Smith was next. Brock Hoffman, not rookie BB, was at center. Guard was TJ Bass with no Zach Martin, and Terrence Steele at right tackle. So only 2 starters, 3 backups, and no rookies. on that list there. So just interesting,
It makes sense, though.
Yeah, it does. They got to earn their spots. That's why you're seeing the thumbnail. You're seeing, BB there pointing up. This is like the second run here, guys. You're seeing number 62 there, Thomas, that from the 7th round. You're seeing there standing up there. That's Guyton listening to the call there. So again, and then you see Terrence Steele on the other side. They all had their reps, but the starting reps today, was Chuma Edoga, Tyler Smith, Brock Hoffman, TJ Bass, and Terrence Steele. They got to earn it. By the way, I want to mention something about Tyler Smith real quick. Mm-hmm. Tyler Smith was the highest ranked interior offensive lineman under the age of 25. Just number one PFF ranking guy there. Now, what about, again, back to Jalen Tolbert, because we talked about him through what McCarthy had said, his words on him, right? But how did he look in practice today wearing that number 1? Well, he's added some muscle. No question, he's added more muscle. And he looked good out there. He was very active. I'll talk more about him in a minute. We also had DeMarvion Overshown. He's added 12 to 13 pounds of lean mass to his frame in anticipation of taking another step forward and maybe even a lead role in the linebacking core this year. So he's still on pace to be ready to go full blast, supposedly, hit DeMarvion Overshown for training camp, if all goes well. So Overshown and John Stevens Jr., tight end, are both of them. I just talked about Jalen Tolbert, but Overshown gained muscle, and so did John Stevens Jr., the tight end. Also gained muscle, noticeably bigger. When they talked with John Stevens Jr., tight end, he looks like he can really be a better blocker now with the mass and size and muscle he's put on top of being a versatile receiving threat. So to me, John Stevens is going to knock off someone like Hendershot. And Schoonmaker, he's hanging on by a freaking thread, it seems like. But we're never going to give up on him, guys. Not anytime soon. He's a second-round pick. So it'll be third or fourth year before he goes anywhere when it comes to Schoonmaker. So a lot of guys adding weight, Overshown and Stevens. Again, when you go into your second year, a lot of times you do gain that extra muscle mass with the way these professional NFL teams do have their strength and conditioning. So when you look at the whole day, and real quick kind of glance here, guys, when it comes to the running game, and you see Zeke and Rico Dowdle, both kind of had solid splits for the first team reps. Mm-hmm. So you're seeing a balance between. So this is why this is so important. Okay. Because you're seeing kind of a little mini preview of what we're going to see in training camp and maybe the regular season. Okay. Split carries basically with Zeke and Rico Dowdle.
Yeah. So much for the whole. Zeke's the number one guy. It seems like he's like
number one
sharing
guy,
the load equally.
It's going to be. It's going to be a committee situation. Yeah. BB. All right. Tyler Hunter Cooper BB. Tyler Guyton, both of them started with the second team offensive line. Kind of like I said, they got to earn it, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And like I said, Hoffman at center, Edoga at tackle, they were with the first team for this early part of OTAs. Jalen Tolbert, Jalen Brooks, both getting a lot of first team reps. Kavontae Turpin, cannot forget about him. He also got a lot of first team reps at receiver. He caught a deep fade pass from Dak Prescott, beautiful play. Turpin, by the way, on the 7-on-7s, even though Brandon Cooks had like the bigger plays, Turpin had the most targets. He was targeted the most. So he obviously is going to be a big part of somewhere in this offense. We're going to use a lot of little Turpin targets throughout a game, it sounds like. The rookie number, what's his name? His name is Flournoy, by the way, I think. Not Flournoy. Flournoy, rookie. They said, we're looking at him today, you can just automatically see the quickness in and out of his breaks, kind of lethal looking. So I'm excited to see what Jalen Brooks, Jalen Tolbert, and Ryan Flournoy is going to bring to the table this offseason. So Trey Lance, like I said, looked a little bit developed better, a little better when receivers were in their second move and after their first move. But Trey Lance had some very well placed passes in the full team reps, including in traffic over the middle, only a place where the 5'11" receiver undrafted Crooms was in position to kind of elevate and make that catch, which was completed. Trey Lance looking better than he did the last time we seen him on that field. On defense, Hey, rookie, what's his name? Marshawn Nealand, unsigned still, but he's at these OTAs. He won several reps versus the first team offensive line, which again was filled with a couple backups. Liu Fau, as a rookie linebacker, was rotating between first and second team. So Liu Fau, without Overshone and without, maybe everybody are ready to go in their spots. No Micah to even drop back as a linebacker sometimes. Liu Fau was playing some first team reps. So getting him used to the starters with Eric Kendricks and that kind of stuff. And then you had our cornerback, Kalen Carson. All right. All of his reps, at least that most people can see, all of his reps were as a boundary cornerback. What does that mean? That means not in the slot. He's on the outside. He's an outside cornerback. So if you're wondering what Kalen Carson can do, what the Cowboys are going to use him at, we know he can play at slot and on the outside, but he's more of a perimeter guy. He was a boundary perimeter cornerback today for the Cowboys. At least that's where they're starting him at, on the outside. Now, a quick couple, I'm going to probably repeat a couple things here, but basically, Zeke is still being looked upon as the leader of the running back room.
Okay.
But like I said, Rico and him split the carries. Tyler Guyton and BB got to earn those spots over Chuma and Brock Hoffman. The battle for that third receiver spot, Tolbert, Brooks, and Kamate Turpin in the mix. I like Flournoy, so keep an eye on all these guys just fighting it out for that third, fourth, fifth spot. Trey Lance, again, a lot of nice passes in traffic. I said Corey Coombs. Coombs was the guy who made the catch, the undrafted receiver. But just Trey Lance just looks more comfortable in the process right now of playing quarterback. So McCarthy definitely seems to have helped him there. When you look at some of the defensive rookies, I still want to bring back up Marshawn Nealand, who is not signed. He's on the field. He's winning a lot of snaps. I love that Marist Liufau, our third-round pick at linebacker, spent most of his practice time kind of learning that middle linebacker spot, replacing Kendricks when Kendricks would come out, and or coming in there with Kendricks and playing with them. I love that. Kalen Carson, again, outside cornerback. So that's kind of the basics here. I do want to add a couple little kind of new things. The Dak Prescott, here we go. That shit.
His old cadence.
Yeah, his cadence there. It was loud and proud once again at practice. So he's still doing it. And again, he's going to try to take that confidence he built last year in 2023, Mike McCarthy's first year as a play caller for the Cowboys for Dak Prescott, and kind of bring that into another, pick it up to another level this year. Despite a lot of this shit around Dak this year, guys, he was very calm and collected, at least in the pocket, on the football field, and in front of the reporters and the media. So, in practice. So, Dak looking good out there. Defensively, real quickly, Mike Zimmer and others had talked about using three linebackers. That's another good question there. So, that's why I brought up the fact that you had Eric Kendricks, you had Damone Clark, and without Overshone out there, and Marquise Bell going back to that safety spot, Marist Liufau, the rookie, was out there a lot at linebacker. It was great to see the rookie go in there and mix it up with some of these starters in front of him right now, and just getting a taste of things. Of course, Overshone will figure into the equation once he gets back on the field, and he's medically cleared later in the offseason. Staying on the defense real quick, Mozzie Smith. What's the official deal looking at Mozzie Smith in the field when he's out there at practice? He looks to be hovering around the same weight that he ended the season at last year. Still at that 305-pound range. He was down to 295. He ended around 305. And he's probably closer to 310 right now, but he's still not to where he needs to be for playing this season. So, and I mean playing the role that Mike Zimmer wants him at one tech. So he was, again, off to the side. Today he was off to the side with that shoulder issue, which we knew was going to be there. But Mozzie was off to the side with Osa Odigizua, who was in street clothes. And basically when it comes to Mozzie, I'm going to describe him this way. His upper body looked slimmer than when he was here last year from the draft. Not after the end of the season, but the way he looked when he came here to the Cowboys at 337. Now he looks slimmer on the upper body side of things. I mean, it's bad, but again, he has that shoulder injury. Has that stopped him from kind of doing a little more strength work? Of course, probably it has. So when it was again asked, we know about when McCarthy was asked about what's his weight going to be like, he kind of declined to answer that. So he didn't want to talk about the man's weight. We'll see what happens. Now that's the Mozzie Smith thing. One last thing about Trey Lance, and then I think we have Brandon Cooks and Dak Prescott that spoke. But Trey Lance, as he continues to grow more comfortable in this offense as a quarterback, he's found, I would say he's favoring two of the receivers that he's kind of throwing to the most. Rookie Ryan Flournoy. So that's why it's a name to keep in mind when you see him in the game, in the preseason game or in practice. Who's he going to throw to a lot and favor? Ryan Flournoy right now, rookie, and Jalen Cropper, last year's undrafted receiver. Flournoy displayed strong hands. He made a couple of really difficult catches, while Cropper was able to make catches in tight window throws, and he kind of leaked across the middle a couple times for a lot of would-be yards after the catch. So those are the two guys you're going to see Trey Lance really practicing with, connecting with, the rookie Flournoy and second-year guy Cropper. So, I mean, I don't know what else I can say. Anybody else has any comments about this in the chat about today's practice? Because we're going to hear a little bit from Dak and Brandon Cooks, and we're calling it a night here, guys. We probably will not be back tomorrow. We got some family coming into town. It's going to be a rough week to do some of the MCF stuff.
So while I read some comments here real quick, Marissa Sparkle said MCF After Dark tonight.
That's the plan. Always a little plan. It's going to be a lot shorter. I have a lot, so I'll explain it after dark.
We have a lot of family stuff going on.
Yeah, and some construction stuff coming up early. So we got a lot of stuff going on for old MCF, but MCF always peeks around a little, around the corner for an hour or something, or maybe a little more on the After Dark session.
Now, as Modis is saying, they're all over the place with this Mozzie experiment. So now I hate to do it, but I have to do it. In the front office's defense, / really Zimmer's defense, the Mozzie experiment was really more last year in the sense of we don't even know what the fuck we were trying to do with him, right? So we thought we had gotten a solid player that was going to trend upwards, and instead, well, we got whatever the heck Mozzie Smith was last year. So, the fact that he's already trending upwards, the fact that he, at least has a year of NFL experience under his belt, and Zimmer is such a tough, no-nonsense type of guy. I have a good feeling that Mozzie will overcome some of the struggles that he had last year. So, let me see here. Touching on a few other comments. So, John Syme also said, I hope any debate between which players will get the nod for first string resolve themselves quickly because continuity is huge.
Agree.
Yeah, we don't want the Cowboys kind of waffling back and forth between two players, but that also means that they're performing at similar levels, which is also good because that means that our backup is probably really solid there. You think about it that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think continuity is huge, but I think with some guys, it's more important on one side of the ball than the other. On defense, we have a new coach and a new scheme. On offense, it's kind of the same thing. Some of the guys that are there know it. The new ones got to know, but the guys that have been there, they'll catch on quicker. While the defense, we need all the guys kind of on board from the beginning, in my opinion, and that's why Micah's coming back on Tuesday.
So, let me touch on a few comments here. By the way, Seabass said Hendershot time.
Yeah, he's walking around in street clothes a little bit, so he's getting closer and closer to losing his job. John Stevens Jr. is going to take his job away from him.
So, let me see.
I also heard that undrafted guy, that Bevy, that hyphenated guy, the tight end, he's like 6'8", 265 pounds. The guy that's standing next to Ferguson and all the tight ends, he just towers over everybody. I'm interested to see how he's going to play this year, on preseason, and see how he's going to be working with Trey Lance. So that's going to be interesting. I'm going to like to see what happens there.
So, no, I think I touched on most of the comments there that were related to what we were just talking about. So back to you, baby.
Well, now, actually, back to you because now we have Brandon Cooks. He spoke about his big day today. Again, guys, let me reiterate. Brandon Cooks had a really nice practice. He was in connection. He was directly connecting with Dak. Great passes, anticipation of where he was going to be. Dak was feeling it. No CeeDee Lamb, but it was no problem. Brandon Cooks was cooking out there. Even though it's just the second day of on-the-field integrated OTAs, and even though, again, remember, guys, the defensive backs, you can't even challenge the ball. But I'm just going to say this. Dak had thrown some great passes to Brandon Cooks that would have been hard to stop even if the defender could jump. Anyways, Brandon Cooks had some real big play practices today. What did he say after practice from today?
He said, "I'm ready to rock. Don't get me wrong, I'm a leader, but at the same time, I'm a playmaker."
And again, he showed that today, even in a limited OTA practice.
Yep, saying whatever side you flip it, the bread comes first. We're going to be ready to go. He was also asked, is his speed still there? Like, are you still as fast as you were back in the olden days? So now he did say no question.
Remember, he's in his 11th season. And today, the speed is what he created separation on his routes today. Forget about the defender jumping in the way or not. He had 5 feet of space between him and the defender. So his speed is obviously still there. Yeah, I agree.
So he also added in there more.
He's rested now, right? After the Pro Bowl.
Fresh as a daisy.
His Pro Bowl days. He had a whole year, no Pro Bowl for the Cowboys. Now he's back at it. Second year with the Cowboys, connecting better with Dak. What's his mindset?
Saying, quote, "I'm just looking forward to getting this season going, hitting that stride like I know I'm capable of being in this offense. Lead from a teammate standpoint and go out there and make a lot more plays than I did last year."
Again, today, if there's any indication, he's ready to do that. So, good to see Brandon Cooks connecting like that. But who's the guy throwing the ball? Well, he was the guy who really spoke today the most, and that is Rain Dakota Prescott. Oh, not him. Rain Dakota Prescott there, Dak Prescott. And, I want to definitely say that Dak, as always, is doing great things. Today, he presented a $2.1 million donation from the Children's Cancer Fund to Children's Health. And these funds, originating from the CFF's annual Night to Remember Gala, which we just heard from Dak talking about this, with Aikman was there and a lot of other people were there. That's the one with Jerry and, and his agent were going to meet, Dak's agent. So we'll see. But the point is that he raised $2.1 million. And, Dak basically helped launch the mental health services for pediatric cancer patients. So doing some unbelievably great. So that's Walter Payton Man of the Year. Obviously, he earned that. Now, other sports, especially in Dallas, we talked about this. The fact that the Rangers just won the World Series. The Stars, they're fighting to get into the the NHL hockey finals, Stanley Cup finals, and of course the Dallas Mavericks, which by the way played today, came back and beat the Minnesota Timberwolves on the road. Congrats to Dallas. They're 3 games away from being in the NBA Finals, which also, let me say, that's 2 Dallas teams, one in hockey and one in basketball, that are in the conference championships. Texas Rangers were in the World Series. The Cowboys haven't been to any of those for 29 years. It's coming up to 29 years. So Dak Prescott was asked about this Dallas Mavericks surge in the conference championships, the Dallas Stars in the conference championships, the Texas Rangers, Texas Rangers who were, of course, champions in baseball. And Dak said, quote, "It's not jealousy, but it fires you up. I want it for them. I want to go win it. The Rangers did it. Other than go do it, it just puts more pressure. It puts more fucking pressure on us." So Dak was not holding back there, kind of rethinking about it.
We don't need any more pressure on us, do we?
We have it. Because
I know.
Every Dallas team is getting the conference championship but us. The Dak Prescott said this about his contract situation, that, quote, "I know my business will take care of itself. I'm just controlling what I can control." And he just kind of said, you have the full quote, baby, but
yes.
He kind of just said, he don't play for money. He leaves that up to his agent. It's just basically he takes the play and he plays on the field. He controls whatever he can control and all that good stuff. It's going to take care of itself. The usual words you hear from Dak, but I'm just paraphrasing, baby. Why don't you tell me what Dak fully said when it comes to his contract?
He said, quote, "I don't play for money. I have never cared for it, to be honest with you. Yeah, I would give it up just to play this game. I know that I allow that the business people to say what it's worth, what they're supposed to give a quarterback of my play, a person of my play, a leader of my caliber. For me, it's about controlling what I can control and handling that part, and the rest will take care of itself. Business is business. I'll leave it where it gets handled. Right now, it's about being my best for this team right now. I'm just focused on that, and I know my business will take care of itself. I've been in this situation before, so I've just experienced and just controlling of what I can right now. I think it depends on personal relationships and positions and how much that pay can affect others. Understanding where I am, what my pay means to a team and to an organization, I don't really take things personal. Maybe in my first deal, when maybe things were a little different than they are now. One, it's my age and who I am, where I am in life, and I guess the fact that the first deal got done. It's the understanding that I have a lot of choice, too.
Well, I'm going to say this. Well, okay, I'm not done there. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the final part of that specific quote, at least, saying, I have a lot to say so, too. It's about understanding business is a business, and for me, it's controlling what I can, and that's making sure I'm the best player that I can be right now.
And I'm going to say something about what he said. I'm going to call bullshit on it. The first sentences. I don't play for money. I know. Listen, I know this is his job. I know he don't actually play for money. Like he wants to play. It's a game and all that. But
you sure doesn't play for free.
But he said, I have never cared for it. To be honest with you, yeah, I would give it up just to play the game. Well, bullshit. Let's just call bullshit on that. You know, that's BS. But look, it's all contract mumbo jumbo business dealings, and that's what has to. You gotta, it's just the way it goes. This is the process, and if the Cowboys want them, they gotta pay. If they don't, they gotta have a couple delayed years of rebuilding. Now, who's the guy that can come in there and take it? Is Trey Lance. And Trey Lance, again, we're gonna talk about him here in a minute because I know that he had a lot of comments about Trey Lance. He actually also talked about CeeDee Lamb, and so Trey Lance, CeeDee Lamb, a lot of topics from Dak's thoughts there, but CeeDee Lamb, when it came to that, Dak said, quote, "That's my guy. Not many people out there have more swagger or cooler or better player than that guy. So obviously you're gonna miss him, miss having him around. But I've been in this situation as well. It's a business. Business is business. He's got my support, and I know the locker room's support. That's part of it. Hopefully he'll get all his and everything he deserves and is worth." So Dak's 2 cents on CD's money bag there. Obviously in full support and knows what it was like. But finishing up, and I don't know if you have this here, but the thing when it comes to Trey Lance, and that's the kind of the bigger kind of the finale here. I do want to throw in there Trey Lance himself. On his time with the Cowboys so far, as he's approaching this backup, he's not. People out there think Trey Lance is fighting for the starting role. Guys, Trey Lance will not be the starter for the Cowboys this year unless Dak Prescott gets hurt. That's it. Case closed. Don't illusions of grandeur. You guys think he's going to be out there, taking over like Dak did for Romo unless he gets hurt. That's the only way that can happen, and it probably will not be a good thing. Usually, it's not. So Dak Prescott is our starter, but the question is, can he be the backup? That's what he's fighting for this year. So Trey Lance said this, quote, "I think the biggest thing for me is that I've learned a lot about myself and who I am on and off the field. This offseason, I've been at my best physically, mentally, spiritually, knowing who I am and where I am." So Trey Lance is ready to take the next step, not to take Dak's job. For those Dak haters, you're dumb if you think that.
Take that next step, becoming our backup.
Yeah, becoming the backup and beating out Cooper Rush. That's the next step for him. So, again, Dak sees Trey Lance, knows he's getting better. He sees his improvements and things. I don't know if it's repeatable, if all that's repeated, but yeah, maybe I'll let you handle it. What did Dak say about old Trey Lance, his soon-to-be, backup probably?
Yeah, so as far as his development specifically, he said he's gotten so much better. I'm excited for where he is now from the time that he came in. First and foremost, I think this position is 80% confidence. Obviously understanding his last situation, but for him to come in, open arms, and be such a great teammate, and be accepted by all his teammates, and just really want to help this team. I think what's changed is his mindset, and just come in really with that mindset of working, and how can I get better, and asking me questions, asking Cooper Rush questions, asking the coaches questions. He's calling young guys, and he works his ass off.
Yeah, I don't know if you say he was pushing me and getting more reps and that kind of stuff, or no?
I haven't gotten to
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Because he was asked at that point, who does he view as kind of like who?
Like, does he actually see Trey Lance as
a number one quarterback,
as someone who is fighting for that QB1 spot to like kind of take it from him, type of thing?
Does Dak feel threatened? And go ahead.
So, and I think Dak answered this the nicest way possible without like he wasn't trashing him. Yeah. He was also like real, right? So you let me know what you think. He said, quote, "He's pushing me. I can tell you that. I don't like to let other people get more reps than me. Trey's the person I've got to watch because he's trying to get up there in rep count. It's a testament to him and how much he's putting into this. I've seen him and he's gotten better. Yeah, he can play. As long as he's getting better, I promise you I'm getting better. I encourage it. I hope he pushes me. I hope he makes people think. I know who I'll be, and I know who I am, and confident in the person and player that I am. I hope he pushes me." So, and by the way, when I say I hope he pushes me, it's definitely more of like a I dare you to push me type of energy, not so much like
So hey,
like
listen, it's honestly, I'm gonna be honest about this situation in the sense that I kind of never thought of it like this before. But my thoughts on Trey Lance, and again, still a long way to go before he challenges Dak for anything for that first quarterback spot. But I'm gonna say this, based on what I'm hearing from McCarthy, based on what I've seen and heard, based in general, before even this, based on what Dak is saying, and based on we're gonna see a lot of Trey Lance soon. It's going to be very interesting to see. I expect Trey Lance that he's actually showing that he's improved. That's what I'm getting out of this. Like, he truly is improving. And that's only a good thing. Even if he don't take over for Dak, even if he stays a backup, even if he's traded as trade bait in the future or whatever it may be, because, we don't have him signed next year. So if he looks good, and this is probably the most important part of his career right now. If he can look good in the OTAs, but mainly in training camp and in preseason, he can get himself that second string job from as a quarterback for the Cowboys, and then see if the development is real and maybe putting him in some games that we're winning by a lot. Maybe have some plays where you can throw in there a Trey Lance and then just change it up for a play or two. Maybe you see that this year if he does really well this offseason in training camp and in preseason games. What do you guys think out there? What do you think? Well, I would say what do you think, baby? But I know you kind of, what's your 2 cents on Trey Lance and his improvements?
Like I said, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think Dak definitely has the right mindset and attitude heading into this, like I said. But realistically speaking, I still think it's a bit of an uphill battle for him to beat out Cooper Rush.
Really?
As of now. I mean, it feels like the Cowboys are really hoping that happens, but that's why I said, like, these reps and what the coaches do are really going to matter, because I feel like he's been in the league long enough that if he was going to show flashes of being better than Cooper Rush, I think he would have kind of maybe done that already, no offense.
I think,
so.
I think that...
But I'm trying to, I'm not trying to be negative towards him. I'm just more... just to borrow Mr. Skeptical fan.
Staying skeptical.
I'm a little skeptical.
I hear you saying, before you get to the chat, I just want to say one thing. I think that Trey Lance, the fact that he's showing some things already. Oh, by the way, King Dom in the house. Part of the family here. Much love to KD. But I do think that what Trey Lance is showing is those flashes that he is better. He is better and can do more than Cooper Rush. I just think it has to be seen still, right? I think that they know, in my opinion, I think that they know he's better than Cooper Rush already. They just got to kind of see it on the field, kind of to say, okay, he's bypassed him officially. It's kind of like saying, Tyler Guyton and BB are not starting yet. But we know they're going to be the starters.
Yeah.
It feels to me like Trey Lance is going to be the backup. Just based on the way they're talking about him, they're very comfortable and confident. The people that are seeing him on the field are describing a difference in the way he was throwing and the confidence, from last year here with the Cowboys. A big difference. So just that difference, it's just a matter of can he do it on the field, in preseason. If he can do that, he's our backup. I think Cooper Rush has a ceiling, and it's an easy ceiling. If Trey Lance can do those basic things, and he's already got he's already got an upside compared to Cooper Rush, in my opinion. So I don't think he's in danger. Dak's in danger at all. But I do think that Trey Lance is creeping up and going to bypass Cooper Rush sooner than later.
So, by the way, Isaac Aguilera said, "Why doesn't this team do wildcat plays?"
Yeah, the Wildcats kind of run its course a little bit, I think, if I remember correctly.
Feels a little too gimmicky even for us.
For McCarthy.
Surprisingly. So, we prefer our gimmicks to have more of a specific cowboy flavor, I would say. By the way, Howard said, good for CD for holding out. I support it. Agree.
I agree. You have to do that. If you're a Cowboy, him, Micah, you're kind of eventually going to have to hold out with these guys. King Dom, who's the newest family member here, said Trey Lance will be quarterback number 1. He's faster than Dak, taller than Dak, and arms way stronger than Dak. But he's not a better leader than Dak. He's not a better, experienced quarterback than Dak. So we'll have to wait and see. Again, there's no way the Cowboys are going to, switch out Trey Lance this year. Excuse me, for Dak Prescott, who was, second in MVP last year. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? King Dom, we just can't. We got to be realistic about this. The Trey Lance will have to show a lot to get close to even passing Dak. So I'm going to say this, the new family member here, King Dom, 100% disagree with you. Trey Lance will not be the number 1 quarterback for the Cowboys by bypassing Dak Prescott. The only way that could happen, please understand, and unfortunately would happen if Dak gets injured. And, of course, Trey Lance, before that, beats out Cooper Rush. So he's our backup. Then Trey Lance will be a number 1 quarterback, but I don't know if he'll be a number 1 quarterback, if you know what I mean. He still might be a backup type quarterback.
So, let me see. Seabass said, notice how nothing has been said about Rush either? Just saying.
Cooper Rush, the Cowboys, we all know what Cooper Rush can do. We know his limits. So there's nothing else to see from him. He's average, if that. Trey Lance got to be just a little bit above average. And he wasn't last year. Let's see if he is this year. I think he will be. But he will not be the number 1 quarterback. That'll be Dak Prescott's much better than Trey Lance.
Oh, so we will see how that all shakes out. But
I mean, that's, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying
Dak Prescott
how it ends up actually working out. But obviously,
it would take a lot for Trey Lance to just take the league by storm. That'd be like you're beating out the number 2, MVP from last year. So that'd be a big deal if Trey Lance was the passer. That'd be the story of the year.
National headlines at that point.
Yeah, he'd be the comeback player of the year, Trey Lance. You know what I mean? So we're not going to dream like that. We're going to hope that the reality is Dak Prescott can lead us with a better scheme that we've been seeing since last year at Week 6. And, again, less players around them. These guys got to step up. And that means that, Dak's got to step up, but the scheme's got to be there. And I truly think that these rookies, if they don't step up, second-year guys, are going to have a tough offense to run. And Dak's not going to be able to, he's not Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers. So, it's going to look not that good unless they're playing bad teams. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. It's up to to me, the season hinges on rookies, second and third year players. This year, that's what it hinges on, in my opinion. Not on Dak Prescott, and not on Micah Parsons, and not on CeeDee Lamb.
So, with that said, guys, that does bring us to the end of tonight's stream. Although, again, if you're still craving some MCF, maybe you'll see it after dark.
A little after dark. But remember, guys, we have the people repping those boards.
That's right. Can't forget to do the shout-outs like a big mahalo to Marco Seppian, representing as our sponsor of the week, and the stream boss. He's got that DeMarcus Lawrence 90 points up there. Again, of course, thank you very much to our current Cash App queen.
Yes,
Gloria.
Gloria.
And last but certainly not least, Mr. Skeptical Fan is, of course, our gifted membership king.
You know it. Skeptical Man always staying skeptical. Currently in a tie with Jason Renfro this week for first place on that gifting board. And if you look at the rest of the board, not much movement today. Skeptical Fan is going up. He did gift the membership. But the current leader on the Cash App side and the overall board is that guy right there, Jason Renfro, a.k.a. Why did I forget his name? Jet Li 44. I'm going to change it. I'm going to get it there. Don't worry, Jason. Appreciate him. He is currently the man leading the board this week. As we're going to have a little after dark session. But it's definitely going to be a little lighter this week on the stream. So, when you guys are here, an hour and today this is an hour and 20-minute stream. So, if you're going to do there it is. I got it right up top there. Jet Li 44. Again, the man running the show here right now. With Mark Hovsepian. So thank you guys for doing your thing here and appreciate the love from above, the support for the channels. 2 channels basically we do have here. And Dak Prescott says thank you too for those that support him. And the ones that hate him, you keep pushing him. That's what he wants. He wants to be pushed. So anyways, guys, on that note, any comments? I guess we already went to the comments, yeah. So just I guess we do these basic final shout outs. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell. Follow us on Twitter and Discord, all that good stuff. But let's do those shout-outs as we wrap this up for the night.
Juan Carlos, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
King Dom, much love. Asmodeus representing. Aztec Aguilar 04 in the house. Of course, over everything. The man Seabass himself. Let me see. Who else do we have in here? Raul representing. John Symes. Have a great night. Of course, Marissa Sparkle, much love.
Yeah.
Let me see. GM in the house.
She may be on After Dark. We'll see.
We'll see. Skeptical Fan always staying skeptical. Brandon James, Mike Aldana, Texas Cat, Double R. Let me see. And yeah, that's as far back as I can go, at least on my side. So with everybody here.
Thank you, King Dom. Appreciate the back and forth, the conversation. Everybody in the house. Hey, baby, before we can drop out of here, let everybody know why we do this thing on the nightly here on this little corner of YouTube.
It's that navy blue, that silver too. And that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly here in MCF, we always rep that star over everything. Of course, on this channel on YouTube for almost 7 years and beyond. 7 years and beyond soon. Here on My Cowboys Family, never forget the number one thing here now and forever. As always, go Cowboys! Let's get that 6 and beyond. And as you can see on my shirt, yeah, we got to get that 6, and I don't know if it's going to be this year. It's an uphill battle for sure. Thank you all for dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long. Thank you all for dropping the love from above, specifically tonight, Skeptical Fan. Appreciate the drops of love from above. And as we get ready to clock out and drop out, and we have family coming into town, sister-in-law, well, your sister coming in town, and other things going on here. It's the end of school and a lot of things going on. So hopefully get back here for maybe a fan for a Saturday, or definitely finish on Sunday for sure. Maybe a Friday and Sunday at most. So we'll see what we can do, guys. We'll do our best, of course. So thank you all for rocking it with us as we get ready to relock and reload for another show here around the corner. Tomorrow is the end of the first week of OTAs, this last phase. Before we can officially drop out of here for the night, baby, what do we got to do?
We gotta drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. Officially, that beat has now been dropped. Thank you guys for joining us for another hour, less than an hour and a half, MCF discussion here with us on My Cowboys Family. And as we get on out of here for the night, as we wrap up a whole day, a day and a half of Cowboys news, info, and updates, 2 days of OTAs. Appreciate you all hanging out with us here in MCF for another Cowboys chat, OTA style. Yeah. Unfortunately, banged up. OSA banged up. Schoonmaker. Mozzie also banged up, but the weight, still waiting to see more on that. Dak, looking all right out there, right? You're flowing there with Zeke. Offensive line, the rookie's got to earn it. And we talked about all these things and so much more right here in MCF, where it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, that star for everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing right here, My Cowboys Family. Much love to all of you here, repping that star with us. Don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure to hit subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you have it to all videos and Of course, follow us on X, Twitter, all those social media places at MyCowboysFamily. We also got Discord, all the information in the description down below. And if you're watching this on a replay, leave a comment down below along with all the other things I just said. On top of that, I hope everyone stays safe. Much love to all. We'll see you back here on a Friday probably, maybe Saturday or Sunday. We'll be back. We get busy, but we'll be back. Thank you all. Peace out. Much love. Stay safe and never, ever forget, Go Cowboys!